The Christmas spirit grows with each new day.
Hi, my name's Ashley and today we're going to be making another of my Christmas treats. Last night I went to Carol's by Candlelight and took my white chocolate Christmas crackers and shared them with my friends. They loved them. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to be making some shortbread. We need to put our oven on to preheat. Now we need our oven on 180 degrees Celsius. So now that can preheat. So here I have got 227 grams of softened butter. Now it's good to make sure it's soft because otherwise it won't cream if it's too hard, but it will, if it's melted, it won't cream either. So in goes our 227 grams of butter. And now I've got 1 cup of sugar, which will just go in there as well. Now what we're going to do is cream this, but don't over cream it. About ready, so that's how it should look. So now either just bang it off or you can get a little spatula or a spoon and try to get off as much as the creamed butter as you can. Just trying to get everything off. So now that our butter is creamed, now we can add the dry flours. Now here I've got 2 cups of plain flour, so we're just going to add that to our creamed butter and sugar mixture. And I've got half a cup of corn flour. That can go in there too. Now we're just going to mix this together gently with a spatula or a spoon or a wooden spoon, just gently to get it together, and then we're just going to get it into a little bowl, in the bowl, and then we can get it out and start kneading it a little. Make sure to get all the butter off the edge, so it all gets mixed in. So now that's about ready to start kneading. So now just get as much as you can off your spoon, and we won't be needing that spoon again. So now just gently trying to get it into a little bowl, just using our hands, getting it to a little mixture, gently. Now, since we're getting our hands in this, especially whenever you're making any food, even if you don't touch it with your bare hands, make sure you always wash your hands at the start, and just like I did before we started. So just getting this together. So this is coming together good. Let's give it a little bit more of a work. Now when you're kneading it in the bowl, you've just got to get bits and squeeze it until it forms a nice little blob of it. So there's our dough all ready for our shortbread. So now we can wash our hands. So creamed butter. Okay. Now what I've got here, you can do it straight onto the bench, or if you want to not to get flour to get all over your bench, you can do what I do. Just get some baking paper and put it on the bench, and then put some flour on that so it doesn't get all over the bench. So now that I've got some on here, you'll also need some on your rolling pin because then the mix won't stick. Just a little bit, you only need a little bit. So now we're just going to spread this flour on the baking paper out a little. And we can get out our dough and put it on to our baking paper. Now what you've got to do now is get a butter. You only need a little cheese knife, one of these, because it's very fragile to do all the work from now. So now what we've got to do is cut our mixture into 3 bits. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, just so we can work with small bits at a time. So I'm just going to put these 2 pieces to the sides so you can see what I'm doing and they're not in my way. So now with this, we're just going to roll it out with our rolling pin. So it's just about 1/2 centimetre thick. So just rolling it out gently. So now that's about as thick it will need to be. So now we get to cut it out so it's the right shape. So we're just gonna make it into a little bit of a rectangle. Trying to make it an even rectangle. And then mix extra mixture and just go onto one of the other pieces. Now the other side, just an even rectangle. Just push this to the other side. And now just each end. And the other end. So now it's just an even rectangle. And we can put this to the side and we're going to slice them all into the little shapes at the end. So now we can do our next bit. Now that I've just moved over a little rectangle so it's there. And the last little bits. Okay, so once again just a little bit of flour on our rolling pin. And roll it out so it's 1/2 centimetre thick. So now that's about 1/2 centimetre thick. Now we can shape it. Now, as you see, the edges may be a little crumbly. Doesn't matter because we're cutting it off to make it a nice rectangle. Coming off that end, pushing it to the side, coming off this side, push it to the side, just at the bottom and the top. So now I've got another piece of baking paper to put this piece on, and then we can do our next bit. So now we can make our last piece into a nice rectangle. This little piece is quite nice, so I'm just going to add that piece as well. Okay. Get on the crumbly bit. So now it's nice and even on the top, we can shape our last one. Just do an even chop down there. Now just take off little bits at a time, because you may need to take off more. And I have to make a lot of shortbread this Christmas because all my family love it. So now we're up to the slicing part. So I've just pulled down my pieces that were up here so the bottoms are in level with this. And I'm just gonna go across like this so that I get even pieces. Still across there, but I'm not actually cutting them yet. I'm just getting the knife and doing a fate line. So you can only just see it, so I know where to cut it. Now I'm going to be showing you how to make the little dots on the top of the shortbread, like what they look like when you buy them in the packets from the supermarket. But our shortbread, homemade, will be more tastier than the ones you can buy. So now we've got our little fake lines. We're just going to get our little cheese knife and cut over those ones. And even though they're not very sharp, you still have to be careful because you still could cut yourself with them. Okay, so there's our shortbread. So now we're going to be getting a fork, and this is how you make the lines. You just gently go over the top. You don't want to push it in too hard. You just want to gently put it over your shortbread, and this will make the dots like at the supermarket shortbread. So just over all of them. You don't have to do this, it's your decision. You don't have to have them cut like this. You can get little Christmas cutters, circle cutters, and cut them out like this. This is just how I like making them. Got to watch out for my grandma, she'd love shortbread. And now I'm on to the lucky last one. There. So now that these have got the little pricks from the fork in it, we're going to be putting them onto the tray. Now here I've got two trays with some baking paper on it. And I'm just going to use the knife and gently go under it to put it on to the tray. Just being very gentle and leaving a little bit of a gap between it. And you can make your shortbread bigger than this, smaller than this. This is just how I like it, as I said before, with cute little triangles with little dots on it, just about the same size as the shops, supermarkets shortbread. I just got a little skinny one there, so I just put it down the bottom. This will probably be really all I can fit on this tray. Now I can put them in the oven while I put the last 3 little pieces of shortbread. Take about 15 minutes to cook, and while they're cooking I'm going to show you how to make the little sugar to sprinkle on the top. Now you do that in about 5 minutes once they're just getting warm, so it all melts in, and then I put some more on the top. So just moving all this, just sweeping this into a little pile, and making a little space. because we need space to make our sugar dust. So now I just need a spoon. Now here I've got 1 tablespoon of icing sugar. Just go into a little bowl. And 1 tablespoon of sugar. And we're just going to mix these together. And this is what we're going to put on the top of our shortbread in about 5 minutes after they've been cooking for about 5 minutes, just so they're nice and warm, and it will just slightly melt, and to put it on when we serve it. So that's how it should be looking. Beautiful, beautiful sugar dust. So now I can set that aside for 5 minutes until the shortbread has been in 5 minutes, and we can pull them out and put some of our sugar dust on them. Now I got my grandma to get my shortbread out because the tray is very hot. So these have been in for about 5 minutes. So we're just going to get a little bit on each one, so they can start melting, and when they keep cooking, you can put as less or as little or as much as you want. And if you don't want to get your fingers dirty, you can just use your spoon and put it into a little sifter and sift it over. But I like to try get it right on the shortbread, but I use a sifter at the end to make it look pretty, so it's all even over. But this doesn't matter if it's not really even, because it will really kind of melt in the holes and go into the shortbread as it cooks a bit more. Because if you feel it, if you put your finger in it, it will leave a little finger mark, and that's how it should be for when you put the sugary dust on it. So that's our first one. So the ones that we put in first, that are now on the middle shelf in our oven, they will take about 2 to 3 more minutes because they're getting firm on the top, and then we can start presenting them. And then, so now these top ones are done. Now we're just going to let them cool down slightly, because when they first come out of the oven they're really delicate. So as they start to cool down, they harden. So now I can turn off our oven. Okay, so here I've got a little Christmas plate with Santa and Rudolph, and we're going to be putting it on here. So now what we're going to do is just being gentle still, because they are still very delicate foods. Just doing little layers at a time, about 3 little ones on the bottom. And then I've got my little sift, just getting some. And now a few on top of that. A few more on top of that one. A bit more. Just these ones on top. Some more icing sugar mixture. Just making sure. One more there. Now lucky last. Okay, and now I've also got some marshmallows that we're going to be just putting around the plate just for some decorations, and they also are very yummy. Just a few little marshmallows all around. One more little marshmallow. There. Now, that is how I would present it. So, this is how it started out. A dough to this beautiful, beautiful shortbread. I'm surprised my grandma hasn't been around. I think it's all going to be for me. So that's... Wait a second. Wasn't there a piece of shortbread there? Grandma!
Oh, I'm really sorry, Ashley, but it was just so delicious. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, I better join the party. Bye then!